Hey guys, welcome back to Minecraft Tips NoobCraft. Now, today, one of the people that actually asked me to do this series had no idea that you could even cook food in a furnace. Um, so I figured that on today's episode we would actually talk more about the furnace itself and really how important it is and what you can do with it. But before we do that, let's do this. So we've got in our inventory all of these wooden planks. Now, you're at the stage of the game already where you're kind of going to need to put something somewhere. And so we're going to make ourselves a double chest. So all you need is wood planks. On there it shows that you need oak, but it can be any kind of wood planks. We're going to make two chests. And then we can just set them down side by side, and we get a double chest. Now we're going to put some things that we don't immediately need, like the leather. We don't need the white wool. I'm going to keep one piece of that dark oak. We don't need the planks or the sticks or the feathers. And alright, that's good for now. So, I'm finishing up cooking some food here, but there are many more things that you can actually do with a furnace that you probably don't realize. And it's going to be very, very important to you, especially if you want to get far in the game and make some better things and improve your general life in the game. It's going to serve you really well to know what those things are. So, first thing, if you have cobblestone, which again is just mined up stone, as soon as you mine the stone, you get cobblestone. Let's take a piece of this cobblestone, stick it in the furnace. Now when you do that, it's going to show that it's actually cooking it. There are plenty of items in the game that will not be cooked in the furnace, and when you go to put those in there, you will not see the arrow moving at all. So as you can see, we now have a piece of stone. There you go. So if you don't have a silk touch pickaxe, and we'll get more into that later on as we continue and we get to the more advanced stuff, but a silk touch pickaxe, what that does is you can mine up anything and it will mine up in its existent state. So if you were to mine up this coal with a silk touch pickaxe, it would not break and give you that little piece of coal. It would actually come up as one of these blocks. Alright, now, if you cannot, and I should have covered this in the first video, so my apologies. If you cannot find a vein of coal anywhere, which we lucked out on and we managed to find coal everywhere, but if you cannot find a vein of coal anywhere, you can take some raw wood, don't turn it into planks, okay? Let's do this for example. Let's say you don't have any coal at all. You can take some raw wood and put it on the top to be cooked, and you can take some more raw wood or planks, doesn't really matter, and stick it in the bottom as a fuel source. And let's go to sleep while that starts to cook. Excuse me, had to take a sip. Alright. And so now you'll see we have charcoal. Now also the wood goes much, much quicker. The charcoal, from what I can tell, goes about the same speed as the coal, so it's really useful. If you cannot find coal anywhere, then you can make charcoal with trees. Now again, if you want to do that, make sure that it's just the raw log form of the wood. Do not, break it down into planks. You want to make sure it's the raw log, just like this. If you break it into planks, unfortunately nothing will happen, and it'll just be a huge waste of your time. Okay, so now we've got another piece of coal, and that one piece of coal has still got plenty of fuel time left in it. Now, if we put some cactus in there, this also, if you want to dye anything later on in the game, because you can dye all different kinds of colors, glass and many other things. There we go, we have cactus green. If you put cactus in there, it becomes cactus green dye. Now we have sand. I'll put these away. Alright, while that is cooking, I'm going to come over here really quick and just check here. We need... There we go. Alright, now as you can see, we have sand cooked and it turns into glass, so that's another thing you can do. Let's take one of these pieces of clay. You'll find clay, it looks just like this block. You'll find it on the bottom of shallow water, such as this over here, this little marsh area. And I'll show it to you, actually, in a minute. But if you drop it, when you mine it, it'll break into 4 pieces. If you place those pieces, you can place them all too, it doesn't really matter, but, I mean, we're just doing one to save some time. Whoops. But if you place one of those pieces in there, you'll get brick. And then, of course, with enough bricks, you can make blocks of brick to make like a brick house, or you can make pottery, stuff like that. Now, if we put the little pieces back into a clay block, we can actually put that in there too. and that will make it into hardened clay. And actually, at a later time, you can take that hardened clay and you can actually dye it as well. So, I mean, we could use that green, that cactus green dye to dye this hardened clay into a green color. So now, and there's a lot more that you can do with furnaces, by the way. A lot of that, though, is going to come with the more advanced stuff that we get into later on, assuming you guys want the series to keep going. It's getting likes, which is great, but please actually let me know if you want me to keep doing it. Perhaps you liked the video, but don't really want to see more. So just make sure you let me know if you actually want me to keep going with it. Eat some food. Now again, even if you can eat your food raw, but it definitely does not do much for you as opposed to eating it cooked. Here we go. Here's some clay right here. And you can tell because, well, it looks different than everything else around it. And also, it sounds like you're mining dirt when you go to mine it. And there we go. We got some clay. Now, if it's making like a rustly kind of sound, like the sound of when you dig up sand, then it's obviously sand. Because you will find sand on the bottom of these a lot as well. Let's get out of the water. On one of my other characters, I have Depth Strider, which is an enchantment that lets you move a lot faster underwater. So this is like painfully slow. So yeah, if you hear that, that is sand. We don't need sand. That you want to hear the sound of when you hear that sound when you're digging up clay. That's how you know it's clay. Because me personally, I have a hard time telling this apart from the clay itself. I can just tell that they're a lighter color, but that's about it. Now I found this when I was out looking for the clay and stuff. This is what we were looking for all last episode. But as I said, it's not very far down. It's right here in pretty much the entrance to the cave. We've got some iron ore blocks here. Ooh, and it looks like a really good vein by the looks of it, too. We hear a zombie moaning in the background, so if he gets too much louder, we're going to want to watch ourselves in case he starts to sneak up on us just a little bit. And we're going to mine these up. We got some sand in our way we're going to have to get rid of. There we go. Alright guys, we got some ore there. And let's go down just a touch further. Really don't go very far. We are Bambis still, and me personally, I don't use the leather armor as I said. And see, there's more iron right there. A lot of players might do leather armor at the beginning of the game, but I never do. I just go straight to iron. Alright, so now we don't want to go too far down there, so we're just going to kind of stand like right here. Now, when you're on the edge of something, and this comes in extremely handy when you're mining, if I just walk forward, then I will fall off the block, okay? Pretty obvious. But if you crouch, which on the consoles, it's clicking the right analog stick down, and you don't have to hold it, just click it once, it's toggle, and walk over to the edge, you cannot fall off the edge when you're crouched. Just don't jump, because you can fall off the edge. But you'll see I'm pretty much hanging off the edge. But as soon as I uncrouch, I can move forward and fall off. But I cannot get off of this edge. I can't fall off. And so that's going to be very, very useful. Another thing is you can nerd pole just like that. What I just did, look straight down, jump, and place blocks underneath your feet. And it's a really good way to get out of like a deep hole if you find yourself falling in it. Something like that. You can just simply look straight down at your feet, jump and drop blocks, and nerd pole up. Some people call it jump blocking, but I think that's the older term when the game first came out. I only ever hear it referred to as nerd poling now, so nerd poling is super, super, super good. I tell you what, it's saved me many times. Sometimes you're in a cave and you're caving away, man, and before you know it, some of the caves in this game are huge and can literally take you hours to finish exploring and mining in if you try and get everything. I'm talking hours, maybe between 2 and 5, just depending on the size of the cave and what you find in it. And its difficulty, of course. And you'll be mining along and you'll suddenly find yourself completely and totally lost, unable to find your way back. You have torches everywhere, so you can't really follow the torches. And sometimes the easiest thing to do is to just nerd pull your way up and out of there. You just dig right out. Now, having said that, it is not advisable to ever, in this game, dig straight up or straight down. Especially if you're a new player, don't dig straight up or straight down. If you must dig straight down, here's what I recommend doing. I'd do a 2x1. So go like that, and then turn. And then you can just alternate sides, and you'll see you can dig down and see what's underneath you before you actually fall down onto it. So if there's lava down there, then you'll be able to see it by the time you dig down to it right there, and you won't fall into it, okay? And so let's now nerd pull our way back out of here. I'm going to want to cover this hole up, because that would just drive me insane. There we go. Okay. But yeah, guys, don't ever dig straight up or straight down. I do recommend, though, that if you must dig straight up, there are certain blocks in the game that are affected by gravity. And those blocks are gravel and sand. So now let's get some sand blocks placed on this. Now, if you're digging and you come over here, and actually, you know what? Let me change speeds for just a minute. Let's get this in here. Iron ore, any ore, iron, gold. What other metal is there really? Anyway, any of the metal ores you can stick in a furnace and smelt them to ingots. Anyway, so while that's doing that, sorry. So let's say you're digging straight up. You know, and you don't know that there's sand right above this block. If you dig this block out, the sand will fall on you and you will take damage quickly. You'll take suffocation damage because you'll be inside the block and it will hurt you very much. So, to prevent that, if you find yourself way down low in a cave and you have to nerd pull your way out, what I recommend doing is place a torch directly down on the block you're standing on and then mine until you can't mine anymore, and then you'll pick the torch back up and you'll nerd pull back up. Let me show you. I really shouldn't be digging straight down. There could easily be a cave under me here. Alright. So if you're nerd pulling out, you're going to want to do this. And then you're going to want to just dig up, you know, all the way as far as you can. And then once you can't dig up anymore, then get your torch. Nerd pull up as much as you can. Put another torch down. And then continue mining. And this will happen. Now, as you can see, I didn't take any suffocation damage because having my torch underneath me, it actually breaks those sand blocks. They're not able to fall on my head because the torch was there. So let's do that again. And this time I'll let you guys see it. And this works with any blocks that are susceptible to the influence of gravity. Sand, gravel, and there's other things too besides torches that can do it. So there you go. That is a great way to keep yourself from getting killed by suffocation damage if you find yourself having to dig straight up. But I really don't recommend it, especially for new players, because you're going to be a little slower cycling through your equipment and stuff if you need to quickly block off some lava that's coming at your face. You know, it's going to get very, very dangerous for you very quickly. So I don't recommend for a new player to do that if they can avoid it. But again, we'll all do what we want. So, but I would definitely wait till you're a little better at the game first. And then finally, guys, before we end today's video, we have an empty map. I usually don't open this map until I get to where I think I want to settle and build my home. And I think for the sake of this video, this series, we'll just do it right in this area here. I mean, it's pretty flat. All I would have to do really is just kind of cut it down a little bit, maybe. You know, but then, as you'll see, it's in my hand, and it's not doing anything. What you have to do is click the use button. Same button you would use to lay a block down, and boink. And there we go. Now we see me on the map, and as you walk with the map out, more terrain will become exposed and lit up, basically, uncovered. Excuse me, hiccup. More terrain will become uncovered for you to see as you go. Now, don't lose this map, guys. It's very, very important. You can get other maps. You can make new ones, but it requires some resources that we're a little ways off from getting right now. That's a little more advanced stuff. But yeah, you can get more maps back, but I'd recommend you be very careful with this. When you're trying not to look at your map anymore, don't hit circle or whatever the corresponding button is on console to back out of something, because that's not going to do it. It'll make you drop it. Just scroll off of it. But yeah, and then when we get to diamond hunting, these are going to be very important. The maps are going to be really, really important for that too. And we got some slimes jumping around down there, but that's all we're going to do for today's video, guys. Again, I hope that this helped you. I gave you guys some tips on the furnace and how many different things you can actually do with it and what those things are. And we've got some metal in here we have just smelted, so let's see what we can make. I'm gonna go with the chest plate. That's like the best thing we can make right now. And we have enough to make the boots. So look at that, guys. We now have a little bit of armor, Yeah, we've got ourselves, the iron armor now, and that's so much better than any leather would do. I mean, we have 2 pieces of iron armor right now, and we have 4 iron slots, or excuse me, 4 armor slots filled in. I don't even think like full leather armor will give you that many, and if it does, it's probably just that many. So yeah, pretty good, man. All right, guys, I hope this helped you really. We've got some furnace stuff, digging tips, don't dig straight up or straight down. Also using the torch technique if you need to dig straight up or straight down. Some different uses for the furnace, some armor, all kinds of various stuff. So hopefully this video was helpful for you. If it was, please do let me know if you want me to keep going with the series. And eventually we'll get to the more advanced stuff, like building and things like that. Some really interesting stuff. A lot of you guys have been asking me for building tips. We'll get there eventually if the series goes on long enough. Just let me know if you want to keep doing it. And if you want me to, I will. So thank you guys so much for all your support. Don't forget to spread some love throughout your day. And the rest of you guys, all of you, have a good day, a good night, and goodbye.